Hey everybody, happy Sunday. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you are having a really good day. My chickens are having a very good day. I don't know if you can see that, but they are currently enjoying just hanging out underneath one of our trailers, which seems to be their new favourite place to kip when they are out of the coop. And now they're going to come and see what I'm doing, because chickens are really curious. So we might have a chicken interrupt us at some point. But that's not what I want to talk to you about today. I want to talk to you about electric car bubbles. Namely, are we in an electric car bubble? And when I say electric car bubble, maybe I should expand that to include plug-in hybrids, alternative fuel vehicles. In the last kind of year or so, we've seen some truly crazy valuations of car companies and alternative fuel companies. Of course, I am talking about Nikola Motors, which is a company that's been valued into the billions, but has yet to actually produce a vehicle. This week, obviously, Lordstown Motors also announced that it wants to go public through the same kind of acquisition reverse merger process that made Nikola Motors a publicly traded company. And it makes me wonder if we've reached a point where we are going to see a real bubble for investors. Hi there, Margaret. Do you have something you'd like to say to me? Margaret thinks that we're about to enter into a green vehicle bubble, apparently. But in all seriousness, I do worry about it, because there are people who are going to be employed at these companies, people who potentially could lose everything if this company doesn't actually come out and produce something. Now, I've not had a huge amount of time to look at Nikola's financials. I haven't had a huge amount of time to look at Lordstown's financials. But right now it seems that both of those companies are promising us a lot, and we don't have much to go on. If you think about Lordstown Motors, when they did that big opening ceremony with the vice president, they brought a vehicle out. We didn't get to see inside. The vice president got to see inside, but we didn't get to see the interior. We didn't really get to see the vehicle moving a whole lot. And it wasn't like, your traditional OEMs where they'll put a lot of B-roll out that shows the vehicle being used and functional. I should, of course, note that not every automaker does this. A couple of days ago, we had the Cadillac Lyric event, at which there really wasn't a whole lot of B-roll available from that. And in fact, Cadillac was open and said, this is somewhere between a concept and a production intent vehicle. So it's not just, it's not just small companies doing it. Sometimes mainstream automakers do it too. But all the signs I'm starting to see are pointing to there being a lot of companies coming to market that are desperate to bring new plug-in cars. And I'm not talking about mainstream here. I'm talking about the startups. I'm talking about the Faraday Futures, the Bytons, both of which, of course, have had their own financial problems in recent years. Maybe even Fisker. Fisker's trying to negotiate a license to use the MEB platform for the Fisker Ocean. And we don't know if that's actually going to be approved or not. We don't know if that's actually going to happen. And if that doesn't, then what are the people who are buying these cars from these startups that don't have any proven track record? And regardless of what you may say about Tesla, and I've been hypercritical of Tesla's attitude in the past, or specifically Elon Musk's attitude, a bit, how do I put this? Tesla's not been great at sticking to timelines. Then again, some other automakers are not either. But despite that, Tesla's actually producing vehicles which move, which are functional, which you can actually buy. Major OEMs are bringing vehicles to market and investing a lot of money into the plug-in space, and I think those OEMs will bring those vehicles to market. Whether everybody at that company will support that vehicle and it have a successful launch and become a popular model is a completely different conversation. But we're seeing a lot of companies, a lot of startups promise vehicles and lots of investors rush to get involved. And these crazy, crazy overhyped valuations for companies that, frankly, may not have the best future. So I want to know if you think that we are in an investor bubble for clean vehicles. Are we going to start to see a massive bubble that bursts, that loses people a lot of money? Nikola is promising some crazy stuff, but we don't have a lot to see from the company yet. There's not a lot to show. Prototypes, sure. A vehicle manufacturing facility that has broken ground. But that's very different to a production vehicle, a production line ready to go. Now, Lordstown, of course, does have a production line. Will it come to market? Well, it's got some big backers, like Rivian has some big backers. And you could say, yes, so too does Nikola Motor. But the difference between where these companies are now and where Tesla was that Tesla did this. Tesla's been in that position. You know, it didn't have a whole lot to show for itself at one point. These days it does. If it wasn't for the Roadster, Model S probably wouldn't have happened. If it wasn't for help from big automakers like Mercedes-Benz and Toyota buying shares in the company, and obviously using regulatory credit sales and using engineering expertise to help those two companies bring compliance cars to market, maybe Tesla wouldn't be where it is today. But the difference between where Tesla was today and where these companies are today is that when Tesla was in that position, nobody else was doing it. Now everybody's doing it. OEMs are doing it. You know, I'm standing next to one of our Chevrolet Bolts. The Chevrolet Bolt EV, whether you like it or loathe it, is not a compliance car. It is a serious production electric vehicle. Lots of these have been made. People are buying them. People are happy with them. And when you can buy a zero-emission vehicle from a mainstream brand, why would you go to a startup that you don't know much about, or that maybe doesn't even have much in the way of vehicle reviews, hasn't let anybody drive it, is not publishing specs? And I'm talking about Lordstown at this point. But the same could be said of the hydrogen fuel cell vehicles that Nikola is promising, or even the Nikola Badger. You know, it's an electric vehicle. We still don't know a whole lot about it other than a spec sheet. And that worries me. And Tesla is not there anymore. Tesla is a mainstream automaker, whether you like it or not. It is now a big boy. It's a big boy auto company. We should celebrate the fact that it's made that transition. But I can't help but think these other companies are just riding Tesla's coattails and looking to get themselves money and maybe not being ready to follow through. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to support us using Patreon, Ko-fi and Bitcoin. And I'll be back next week with more great content. Apologies that 10 was a bit late this week. I think you can probably understand why. We purchased a brand new camera. We were filming last Sunday. That special we did on the Johnny Cash Rolls-Royce took 7 hours from start to finish. 8 hours if you account for, you know, the preparation that I did the night before. Probably 10 hours if you put in all the travel time. So we wanted to get that out on Friday, and that delayed 10. So 10 should be out by the time you see this. And then next week, hopefully things will go back to normal. We are struggling a bit at the moment to get all of the editing done because there's nobody else on the team who understands the workflow as much as I do. So we are training people up, but it'll take time. Anyway, thanks for watching. And as always, keep evolving. Hi gang, are you enjoying your watermelon?